But the biggest things I learned were some of the different alterations, which I didn't realize. For example, like before writing the book, I didn't realize people were pressing out creases and trying to hide them over that, or people were really trying to paint over creases as well. I knew people altered cards as in cutting them and replacing backs often with like OJs or some older tobacco cards to try to scam people in that ways. But I didn't know about like pressing a card and how you could actually detect that.
Let me ask Carvin a question about pressing a card, because there's actually an account on Instagram that regularly posts before and after pictures of vintage cards, largely from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, where this individual will get rid of creases and wrinkles. And I'm not sure how the hobby feels about that. I think I know, but I'm not 100% sure how the hobby feels about that. So I'm going to ask Carvin this question. Carv, how should the hobby, or how does the hobby respond to a card that was once creased, but somebody is able to effectively remove that crease almost without a trace of it ever existing and not impacting any other parts of the card? Is that a faux pas? Is that a no-no, or is that accepted?
So here's what I'll say. I'll go with the comic book industry. So with CGC, is it CGC? Yeah, CGC that does the comic books. They used to not press the cards, comics, but now they do press the comics to help give it that nice binding look and everything. So I think the fact that it's not using any foreign substance and you're just pressing it, they're probably fine with it. Now, I don't know if the press is involving steam or water or anything of that nature. I think that could affect the card. So I think by the hobby, it's probably not going to change. And however, if you're a purist, that becomes a problem, right? If you're a purist, right, who's like, hey, if there's a crease, I want to see that crease. Unfortunately, without knowing provenance, you're not going to know if it happened or not. Right. And I'm sure people back in the day, 20, 30 years, 40 years ago, they know how to get rid of some of these, like gum stains, right? Like, are you concerned about gum stains? I don't let gum stains bother me, like the back side of the gum, and you can kind of rub it off or that type of stuff. So I'm not as concerned about pressing. I'm more concerned about touch-ups, trimming, all those other elements that are the no-nos. For sure.
How about you, Ryan? I mean, writing the book, talking to people at 52 card shows over the year. I'm curious, what's your perception on the hobby's position on the removal? And it's important. Carvin made a really good point there. The removal of creases or wrinkles without using any foreign substance.
Yeah, I think the foreign substance is where the line is, especially like if you can't get out a crease and someone paints over the card, that's some type of alteration with it. But if you're able to really get rid of the crease without damaging the card or the card stock in any means, and it's not detectable, that's a little bit different. I know it's kind of like a gray area where it's like, is it really an alteration or is it just to kind of prep a card? And I know with like a lot of Chrome cards today, there's people that will prep them, get rid of scratches. So the same philosophy could be applied to that. And I don't know for sure, but I think grading companies don't really look at that specifically.